Everybody, this is Carla with Cobweb Corner, and this is FlossTube number 91. It is March 27th, 2024. This is a channel about cross stitch and my online cross stitch shop, cobwebcorner.com. It's been a few weeks since my last video. I did my last one before market. I've got a lot to talk about. We are celebrating 4,000 subscribers. I'm going on a retreat next week, and I have a new stitch along to share, and I'm going to read from my great aunt's travel journal. So we've got some giveaways, so lots and lots to talk about. So let's just jump right in. First of all, stitchiness, stitchy mail. I didn't get a lot of stitchy mail. I usually don't, because I don't buy stuff. I have, you know, kind of go pillage from my shop. But I did get a gift from Helen when I was at market. So that was one of the best things about market, was I got to see my friend Helen D, and we actually got to spend about 2 or 3 hours just visiting the day before market started. But she brought me a late birthday gift, and she made up this really cute, she knows that I've never done beading on my cross stitch designs and that I'm going to be doing some beading, and she made me this beading kit. And it's really clever. I don't quite know how to use it, but it has beading string in it, or thread, a needle, and beading needles, and then it has a magnet at the top to hold my needle, and then it has this little thing that I take this plastic cover off, and I can put my beads in there and pick them up with my needle as I stitch, and it has a magnet on it. So I'm anxious to learn how to use that, learn how to do that. So that was really cool. I thought that was a really cool gift idea that she put together. And then she also gave me, this is from Mad for Minders. Mad for Minders made a Helen D needle minder. So I was really excited. It's got, if you watch Helen D's channel, which if you're not watching, you should be, she is amazing. But she has a kitty, a couple kitties, and one of them likes to join her on her videos. So they put the kitty paw in there. So that was really fun. So that's about the only stitchy mail I have. I have not stitched at all for over 4 weeks. I have been unbelievably busy, and I just can't bring myself to get into my projects once I end my day working on the shop. So I have not done any stitching, but what I did do right before I left for market, when I'm at market, we go room to room to room really fast, and we pick up our orders or buy things, you know, and our hands are full. We might have a big bag, or some people have little trolleys or things, but you need your hands free. You need to be able to have quick access to your credit card or your checkbook, a pen. I would carry a 3-ring binder with me that had all of my information about what I needed to pick up. I had everything. I actually was really organized this year, and I had everything alphabetical order by designer. And then I put their room numbers of where I needed to go and what I needed to pick up, and make sure I got everything. So I was carrying that, and I didn't want to have a purse or a bag. So I made this little craft pouch, and it worked perfectly. And I've made these before. I made one before, and I made it for my mom. And I'm going to show you the pattern here pretty soon. But it's got it's got 3 levels of pockets in it. So it has this pocket here, 3 across, and then a middle one, and then it has 1 large pocket. Now this one, the pockets this way are not quite big enough to hold my phone, but my phone goes here. But I could put my credit cards in here, a couple of ink pens, some cash, and you know, a couple of other things. And then I just had that tied around my waist, and when I went into every room, I could just quickly pull out my credit card or pull out what I needed, and not have to dig in a purse or have things get lost. And it worked really, really well. So how I made that was I used this design. I made it using my embroidery machine. It's a sewing machine, machine embroidery combination machine. And I used this pattern by Pickle Pie Designs, and it's called Sew Handy Aprons. And you can actually, you do everything in the hoop, so there's no sewing at all, as far as just standard machine sewing. And it comes in small, 4 sizes, and I made the medium size, I believe. Yes, I think I made the medium size, which is supposed to end up to be 6 by 10. Now the design comes with the ability to put this embroidered monogram letter on the front pocket, but I think that looks kind of old-fashioned, so I leave that step off. And then basically what you do is just show you a couple. I'm not going to show you any measurements. If you have a machine embroidery, you do embroidery machine, you do need to be able to have at least a 6 by 10 hoop in order to make the medium size belt. They have a smaller or medium size apron. They have a smaller apron that will fit in a 5 by 7, but it's much smaller. And then there's one that fits in a 7 by 12 hoop and one that fits in a 9 by 14 hoop. So there's a large and an extra large. The next one I make is going to be a large. I'm going to see how much difference there is. But what you basically do is you put stabilizer in your hoop, and it draws a line of where to lay your fabric, and then you just follow the instructions of how to lay your fabric, whether it's right side down, wrong side down, and then you sometimes have to tape it into place, and then it sews the different steps, and then you lay the next layer of fabric and it sews. So what you end up with in the end, and then it tells you how to do the ties. It calls for ribbon, which I didn't have any ribbon, so I made my own ties out of fabric. And it also walks you through if you want to add this little clip to hold your keys or to hold something like that. So all of that is done in the embroidery hoop. The hardest part is when you're done, you take it out of the hoop and you trim the fabric. So like you trim what would be a seam, and then you have to turn it inside out, and it's quite thick along the seams, and I never did get my corners. I worked and worked and worked on the corners, and I finally just left them rounded. So there's quite a bit of bulk, but it also ends up making it nice and stiff and sturdy, so it doesn't just flop when you put something in it. There's another reason I really like these. I made one for my mom, and if you have someone who is elderly, but not quite, like what I'm trying to get at is I want my mom to always have her phone on her. So she has a small cell phone, smartphone, and I'm trying to get her to always carry that, which it actually a year and a half ago, she was outside and fell, and she had her phone with her and was able to call for help, and she ended up breaking her shoulder and a bunch of stuff, but the point was she had her phone with her. So I made her one of these so that she can slip her cell phone in it and wear it even around the house, because she doesn't always have pants that have pockets on it. She doesn't really like to put her phone in her back pocket. She doesn't like to do that. So she can put things. Also, my mom has severe macular degeneration, so she is pretty much blind. So she can put common things that she uses every day in there and have that on her. Now, she doesn't use it every day, but she does use it. And it's just an idea of something like that. If you have somebody elderly who you're trying to get, but otherwise it's also a great idea for crafting. If you're doing your own crafting, sewing, you can have your rotary cutter, obviously with the blade closed, or you're going to ruin your apron, your rotary cutter, your whatever, right there, anything that you use all the time and you're constantly laying down and then looking for them, you can use with that. So that was what I made. I am going to make some more of those. I had this big idea. I'm going to a retreat next week, and I'm like, ooh, I'll make everybody at my table, which would be 8 or 9 people, one of these aprons before I go. Well, yeah, that's they take like 4 hours to make, and it's already like 4 days away from the retreat or 5 days away from the retreat. So that's not going to happen. So anyway, that is Pickle Pie Designs So Handy Aprons. And it's also one more thing was I was able to use only fat quarters to do the complete design. I used 3 different fabrics in blacks and grays, and I didn't need any more than a fat quarter for any of them. And I had not a whole lot of fabric left. So if I make some more of those, I will share more on that. All right, so that's really the only crafting I did. Let's see. Trying to figure out what to do next here. Let's just do, before we go too far, let's do giveaways from the last video. Sorry, I'm looking at my table and I'm looking at my notes. Let's do giveaways from last week. So the first thing we're going to give away was I had 3 skeins of floss by hand dyed by Rolanda, and you had to use the word floss. Now, if I call your name, please, my email is down below. Please email me and put FlossTube winner in the subject line. Please put FlossTube winner. Don't put thank you. Don't put I won. Otherwise, because that's what I search on when I'm looking to see if anybody has claimed a prize. So that helps me not lose you. So put FlossTube winner in the subject line, and then give me your mailing address and what you won, because so that I don't send you the wrong item. So to claim your prize, you need to email me, and the winner of the floss is OwlBeStitching8839. Then I gave away this pencil case from my trip to Galapagos, and you had to use the word pencil. So 39 people wanted to win the floss, and 36 wanted entered the word pencil. And the winner is Magalid, MAGALIDG9552. I'm going to say it wrong. So MAGALIG9552. Then the next thing was this notebook made with recycled paper from Ecuador, and you had to use the word flamingo. 32 people wanted that, and the winner is Owl and Gator Stitcher. And last was this pink polka dot fabric, and it's a 32 count Lugana called Powder Pink Splash. You had to use the word fabric. 36 people were interested in that, and the winner is Sharon1198. So that is those. Next, so let's do the travel journal. So if you've been watching me for a while, I've been reading from my great aunt's travel journal started in August of 1939. She traveled from Chicago through Iowa, up into Minnesota, across North Dakota, and up into Canada for a while, and now is visiting friends in Everett, Washington. And when we ended the journal last time, they had met up with their friends, and they had planned to meet the next morning at 6:30 to do a day trip. So this is September 4th, 1939, and it is a Monday, and it's Labor Day. In order to keep, if you're not interested in this, just skip ahead just a couple minutes. It's not a real long one. It's about a page and a half. So in order to keep our promise that we would be at Clark's garage at 6 o'clock, we had to arise at 4:30 this morning. There was our car to reload and pack, breakfast to be prepared and eaten, and ourselves to get ready before 6. We are invited to stay in the Clark home tonight. Fog, fog, everywhere it is fog. I wonder where we will go, was the thought that crept into the minds of all of us as we parked our car at Clark's. There seemed to be a question in our host's mind too, as he greeted us, for his first remark was, "Do you think we had better risk Rainier?" We then settled the problem by suggesting that since the Rainier trip might prove unsuccessful because of the weather, that we had better go north, and that would save us a day as we planned to go to Vancouver. So to Vancouver it was. The fog and clouds stayed with us the greater part of the trip. However, we didn't mind as we were comfortable in the car and had confidence in our expert driver, Mr. Clark. At Blaine, we came to the international boundary line, and before reaching the custom house, we stopped to view the International Peace Monument and to partake of hot coffee and pears. I took a few pictures. It was cloudy and misting, so we didn't stay very long at the Peace Portal. We weren't detained very long at the custom house, for all the officials did was to question each about his birthplace and then examine the car for contents. Upon our arrival in Vancouver, we first drove through the most congested part of the city to the CPR docks to see the Oriental, Australian, and coastal steamers. From the pier, we could get a good review of the Broad Inlet. Vancouver, British Columbia is the 4th largest city of Canada and its chief port. It has a population of over 246,000. The growth of the city dates back to the coming of the Canadian Pacific Railroad in 1885 and the increasing Oriental trade and shipping of wheat to Europe by way of the Panama Canal have revolutionized the status of the port in recent years. The wheat storage of this port is very large, and the whole crop of Alberta can be handled. The export trade is particularly active when the Great Lake ports are closed by ice. The harbor is one of the finest natural harbors in the world. The port is the terminus for the Canadian Pacific Railroad systems. 50 steamship lines run to Japan, China, Australia, Honolulu, San Francisco, Alaska, etc. After we had eaten at Talk of the Town restaurant, we walked about the city and did some window shopping. All of the big shops were closed for Labor Day. Mr. Clark was anxious that we sit in the Vancouver Hotel, just so we could say that we had been in there. We then drove to Stanley Park, which has an area of over 1,000 acres and is one of the finest natural parks in the continent. It contains over 50 miles of trails and roads. We first stopped near the Rose Gardens and the zoo, where we were greeted by huge bears. Mother and Mrs. Clark rested while we wandered about the place through real wilderness. Part of the park has been left to its natural condition and is most interesting. There we saw strange growths of enormous trees and large trees growing out of the stumps of old trees. One tree appeared to be growing out of a rock. I took a picture of Mr. Clark standing beside a unique totem pole. After thoroughly investigating this primitive part, we drove out to Point Grey and viewed the boats and water. From Point Grey, we went to Prospect Point and saw some wonderful bridges and many interesting totem poles. It was here that Wes and I purchased cards and stamps. By 4 o'clock, we were ready to return to Everett. It had been a perfect day for us despite fog, rain, and chilly weather. However, the sun did come out several times. We felt sorry for Mr. Clark, who had to do all the driving through the rain and heavy traffic. It wasn't long after we reached home that Marion and Mrs. Clark had a delicious dinner ready for us, and we were just hungry enough to enjoy every bit of it. Another fine evening was spent by the fireside, and too soon it became bedtime. Perhaps tomorrow, if the weather permits, we will fly with the birds to Victoria, Canada. Expenses. Toll going and coming to Vancouver was 50 cents. The cards they purchased in Vancouver were $1.30, and the stamps they purchased in Vancouver were 32 cents, for total daily expenses of $2.12. We went in Mr. Clark's car today, so we had no mileage to add to ours. Neither one of us drove. A real treat. So that is there. We've got quite a few days left, so we have quite a bit to do yet in the journal. Okay, what's next? Let's talk about the upcoming stitch-along. So most of the information about the stitch-along can be found at Helen D's channel, and I will put a link to that down below. But her latest FlossTube goes into all the details, and shows some of the finishing materials and stuff for the stitch along. But if you've been with me for a while, you'll know that Helen D and I work closely together, and we have done, I think, 5 stitch alongs with 5 different designers. And we're to the point now where we seek out designers to work with us exclusively during the stitch along event. And this time we reached out to Erin Elizabeth Designs, and we were so excited that she said yes, she would like to work with us. So she has created a design that will be exclusive to the stitch along, and then once the stitch along is over, then she'll release it and it'll be available to all shops. So let me just show, first I'll just show you the design. Here it is. It is called Bee Farm, and it is, I just love it. And the most exciting part, I think, is how she finished it. Now, if you go to Helen D's FlossTube, again, which I'll put a link directly to the FlossTube that announces the stitch along, Helen goes in all about this finishing piece here. I'm not going to go into that. It's available. It's all kinds of information from Helen, so there's no reason for me to repeat that. The stitch along, the way we do our stitch alongs is we announce them first, and then we ask you if you think you're going to participate, to fill out a form and just let us know that yes, I am planning on participating. And that lets me know how many materials to purchase, because in the past I've either under purchased or I've way over purchased and ended up with too many charts left over at the end, or not had enough floss on hand, that kind of thing. This particular chart is only 70 by 70 stitch count, and it uses 9 colors of DMC floss. The retail price on the chart is $8, but on my site you'll be able to purchase it in either PDF format or printed format for $7.15. So it's really going to be a quick, fun, and inexpensive stitch along. The chart calls for 28 count light taupe Lugana by Zweigert. I will not be providing the fabric. We try to pick smaller designs that hopefully you can go to your stash and find a smaller piece of fabric and use that, use something out of your stash to complete the design. I'll also put a link down below to the form that you can fill out. Then after we give it, I think until April 9th, because I'm going to a retreat, which I'll talk about in a little bit. On April 9th, the sales will open. Now, if you fill out the form, I will send you an email saying, hey, it's open. You can purchase your chart now. And then 2 weeks after that, which is April 23rd, we'll all start stitching. So again, go to Helen D has all the details and all the information. And then we're gonna maybe try to do a live combined Instagram live feed. Helen and I, we've never done one, so we're a little nervous, but we may try to do that and talk about that more. So anyway, I'll put the link to the form down below. I really hope you join us. It's such a cool chart, and we are so excited to work with Erin Elizabeth. One thing I will say is that the PDF format will only be available from Cobweb Corner through May 7th. So the way when we work with the designers, we really work hard to let them allow us to sell it in PDF format, so that if you're an international buyer or you don't want to pay shipping, that you can still participate. And Erin has agreed to do that, but then once the stitch along has started and is getting well underway, then the PDF format, you'll only be able to purchase it from Cobweb Corner in printed format. So we'll have more on that. The important thing now is go watch Helen for information on this finishing idea and how that works, and keep watching our channels and our social media, and fill out the form if you're interested. So super, super excited about that. Next thing, market. So I had a blast at market. I'm not going to talk a lot about it. It was everything I wanted it to be. For those of you who know, last year I had a horrible travel experience, and this year everything went perfect. My roommate Shelly from Just Stitching, if you aren't following her on FlossTube, she has a brick and mortar shop in Ohio, and she has allowed me to room with her the last 2 years. And she is just a fabulous, fabulous lady. She's just the nicest person, super excited about the industry, and she has a great FlossTube channel. So I will also put a link to her channel down below. She does a lot of fun stuff on her channel, and she does a lot of stitching. So give her a shout out too. I was able to, like I said, I got in early. I got in the day before the event started, and I was able to spend an entire afternoon with Helen D, and it was so fun. She mentioned this on her FlossTube too, but we were exhausted. She got up, I think, at 2:30 in the morning, and I got up at 3:30 in the morning, and we happened to land at exactly the same time in Nashville. So my plane landed, and I think it was 11 o'clock in the morning, and I texted her and say, just landed, let me know when you're here. And she goes, we just landed too. So we met at baggage claim, and then she was with some friends, and we all got our individual rental cars, and then we met for lunch. And then Helen and I went back to my room at the hotel, and we talked for a couple hours. Then we're like, we need a nap. We're going to lay down for a while. And I laid on the couch, and she went in and laid on the bed, and we're laying there, and I don't know, 15, 20 minutes goes by maybe, and we could hear people outside. And finally I'm like, Helen, are you awake? And she goes, yeah, do you want to go out and talk to people? I'm like, yeah, I do. So we got up, and that was the end of all thoughts of a nap. So it turned, by the end of market, you are just dead tired. So, and then my roommate, Shelly, got in later that night, and her and I talked for a couple hours. And then the next day, got up, I had breakfast, and we had a retailer shop meeting that I attended. And then market started, and I started picking up pre-orders. Now, I'm not going to go into bestsellers and all of that kind of stuff, because that has kind of been hammered into the floor on other channels and other social medias. So you guys all know what the bestsellers were. But when my last FlossTube, I did talk quite a bit about whether am I going to take pre-orders again next year, and what do I really want to get as a shop owner out of market. And when I talked last time, I talked that I really wanted to go and visit designers I didn't know, or lesser known designers, or maybe designers who were just getting started, and decide whether I wanted to carry those designers in my shop, and also be able to show you guys things that everybody else isn't stitching. So we get these fabulous, fabulous designs, and they're super popular, and then you see them everywhere. But there are a lot of really fabulous designers out there that I want to try to bring to you when I can. And so the last day I was there, I was only there Friday. So there's the hours, the shop hours, the market hours were like from 4 to, I can't remember, 4 to 7 or 4 to 8 on Friday, and then 9 to 6 on Saturday. And then I left early Sunday morning, and there were shop hours on Sunday, but I left and came home. But I had all my pre-orders picked up by early Saturday afternoon. And then I was absolutely exhausted, but I then spent the next 3 or 4 hours wandering the halls and going into rooms of designers I was not familiar with. And it was so much more fun to shop like that, and to go in and be surprised. And I got a bunch of new design. I not only from market, but I also just put in an order with a wholesaler, and I ordered from, I think, 4 new designers that I've never ordered from. I don't know how new they are, but I've never ordered from them before. So there's going to be some fun new stuff. Now I've got a few that I'll show you that are not listed on my website yet, but just to give you an idea of what's coming up. But it was a lot of fun to approach market from that viewpoint. How I'll do it next year, I don't know. Pre-orders are just a lot of work as a business. Not taking pre-orders is a financial hit, but I definitely want to have more time to just go to market and explore. And see, and really, a lot of times you just run into a room. The designers put so much work into their models and into their display in their rooms. And sometimes you're in such a hurry, you just go, I'm here to pick up my pre-order for Cobweb Corner, and you grab it and you pay and you go, and you don't take the time to appreciate their displays and the work that they put into their models. And after I took this approach and was finished with my pre-orders, I really could go into any room I wanted to and just walk around for 5 or 10 minutes and really look at their models. And like, there's a lot of times where the pictures on the cover just don't do the design justice. And when you see the models, hopefully by me bringing it to you, I wouldn't bring you something that I didn't like the model, the model of. So hopefully you'll see over the next few weeks as I get time to get these entered into my database, which is a huge time suck. Hopefully you'll appreciate some of the new designers that I decided to give a try, and we'll go from there. So enough about that. Market was fabulous. Can't wait to go back next year. Not sure how I'll do it, but we'll go from there. Next thing. Let's see. Next thing. We hit, Cobweb Corner hit a huge milestone 3 weeks ago, and we hit 4,000 subscribers. And I know that subscribers is just a number, but the people who do these floss tubes, we put a lot of work in it. And when we see our subscribers number grow, we know that the work that we put in is being appreciated and is paying off. And I don't mean paying off money-wise, but paying off as in I'm reaching my audience, which is you guys. So it is, even though it's just a number, it also is kind of a validation that the work that we do as floss tubers, or when we put posts on Instagram or something, that we are reaching you guys and that you're listening to us. So it really makes you feel good. So when I hit 4,000 subscribers a few weeks ago, I was ecstatic, because I remember I've been doing this a long time, quite a few years, like 2019, I think I might have started, and I still haven't even put out 100 videos. And I remember being at like 50 subscribers, and I would watch somebody with 1,000 subscribers, and I'm like, that is never going to happen. It's just, how do they do it? It's not possible. And so over the last couple of years, having you guys join me more often and watch my videos, it really, really means a lot. And so when I hit 4,000, I was happy. So we're going to celebrate. So to celebrate, I'm going to give away 20 $10 gift certificates or store credits. So to be eligible for one of the 20 $10 gifts, and these you can use, of course, in my shop, but this way you can get something that you want rather than me maybe not being interested in a chart that I show. So to do that, use the word milestone. Okay, milestone, milestone. And I will draw, during the next video, I will draw 20 names. And if you're a winner, you will either get, if you have an account with Cobweb Corner, I'll just give you a store credit of $10. And then that'll automatically be applied to your next order. And if you don't have an account with Cobweb Corner, I will give you a gift certificate for $10. So that, hopefully, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And if you, let's see, I think that's it. I think that's it. I'm really excited to have reached the milestone, and I appreciate you guys. Okay, let's see. We did the stitch along. What's coming up? I've got to get back to stitching or crafting of some type. I have so much inventory from Market that I need to enter into my database yet, and that takes a lot of time, and then keeping up with orders. But I've got to get back into some kind of crafting again, and hopefully my stitching. But next week, today's March 27th, on April 4th, Thursday, April 4th, I'm flying to Pittsburgh to go to the Steel City Stitchers Retreat in Pittsburgh. And I will be there Thursday night, Friday night, and I leave very early Sunday morning and will be home Sunday afternoon. I have not even thought about what I'm going to stitch while I'm there yet. I'm working on 2 larger designs, and I'm not sure I want to take a larger design with me. I may start Bee Farm. I don't, in all of the other stitch alongs that I posted with Helen, I have not stitched the design, either because it wasn't my thing, or I just don't have time. But this one I really like, and it is, it only has 9 colors in it and looks relatively easy. So I thought, if I can get that started, I may start, even though it's officially before the stitch along start date. So I may take that. I think I might try, I'm going to take I have a lap frame that I took with me last year that ended up working really well. I may practice with my lap frame on my larger pieces and see, but if you've been to a retreat, you're talking constantly. You don't want something with a lot of detail where you're stitching, you know, 1 stitch here, 1 color and changing and stuff. You don't want to get lost, because there's a lot of distractions during retreat. So I have got to figure out what I'm gonna stitch. But I had a blast last year. It was my first retreat I'd ever gone to, and I can't wait for next week to get there and do that again. So that's coming up. The shop will remain open while I'm gone. I will put a little notice that shipping might be delayed. I'll probably start shipping again on Monday, April 8th. Possibly Tuesday, April 9th, depending on what time I get home. I only have a 35 or 40 minute layover on my flight home, and so I really hope I make that and get home in time. Okay, new shop inventory. I've told you before that when my full videos, I show new inventory. It's new inventory that I have never listed on my shop before. Oh, it's heavy. And so it might not be a new design, but it's something that's never been listed on my shop before. And I only have a few because I've been so busy with getting out market releases. But I have a new designer. You've probably seen her. If you watch Helen D, you've seen her. She just finished, I'll show that chart first. And if you watch Helen's latest video, she shows her full finish for this chart. But the new designer I'm carrying is Robin Pickens. And this is her seasonal courier series. And this is Robin Spring. So Helen D has fully finished this, and it looks great. Now Robin, I haven't talked to Robin other than via email, but she designs quilting fabric. And I don't know if she does, and I think quilt patterns too. And so she designed some pretty cool quilting fabric. And I don't know when she started. She has maybe 10 or 12 cross stitch designs. And when Helen started stitching those, I was like, oh my gosh, those are great. And I'm going to see if I can carry her in my shop. So I emailed her and she said, yes, I would love to have you carry my designs. So I've got Robin Spring, also from the same series is Blackbird's Autumn. And I had these before a few weeks ago and they sold out right away. So I just got in a bunch more. Seasonal Couriers Cardinals Winter. And the last one is Blue Jays Summer. So those are the 4 from the seasonal courier series. Then she has this design, really cool, Pine Crossing. And look at the way she uses color to create depth in that design. And then she's got the 2 little red cardinals here. But the way she, you know, it just looks like it goes way back into the hills. Really, really cool. That's Pine Crossing. Real quick, I got some 18 count perforated paper, white, in stock. Then back to Robin Pickens, I have a Fall Frolic sampler. Loving Wishes. And Sweater Weather Winter Pine Cone. And let's see, we did that, might be it. Oh, nope. Winterly Twosome, trying to read it backwards on my camera. Winterly Twosome Triangle Ornaments. Aren't those cool? And is that it? Oh, and Winterly Sampler. All right. So that is it for what's currently available on my site. I really, really like Robin. She told me she's coming out with a new design sometime this week or next week. So I can't wait to see that. And I really hope that she continues to design cross stitch. I don't know how designers like her and, you know, designers who, they do so many different things. Like she's actually creates quilting patterns and quilting fabric, and then to go into cross stitch, and how they keep up with all that and do that, I don't know. So real quickly, these items are not available on my website yet, but I do want to just give you a hint of some of the fun things that I did go in and see. One of the things was I went into a room by a French French vendor, Marie, and her shop is called Les Secrets de Marie, the secrets of Marie's Secrets. And she had a lot of primitive standard embroidery. But then she had these beautiful, just a couple of cross stitch things. A lot of these I can't reorder from her because unless I want to pay shipping from France. So I just bought a few things to try. And I'll probably either use these as giveaways, or most likely I'll sell them on my auction, Facebook auction site. So these probably will not be listed on my website. But she had these little wooden things where you stitch this top part, and then it's either a bookmark or it's a bookmark, because it says down here, il était une fois. And il était une fois is literally translated to it was one time. But it's the French way of saying once upon a time. So it's a way to start a story. Il était une fois. And then she had these beautiful wooden button sets. And I could see these on lots of different embellishments, on lots of different types of designs. Look at this one. Wouldn't that be fun? Like going along the bottom of a Christmas finish. And then she had these hearts, and this packet of hearts you could use on, you know, just one heart on, like these are similar to the hearts used on some of the heart in hand wee ones. And they're about maybe a tiny bit bigger, but those are really cool. And then there was this winter set. So not sure how I'm going to make those available to you guys yet, but that was one shop that I got to go in, and I spent a lot of time in there. Had she been somebody I could have ordered from in the United States more easily, I might have picked up more. But I also wasn't sure about the buttons, so let me know what you guys think about this type of thing, how you would use it, where you would use it, if you would use it, that type of thing. Another one that you'll see is Little Stitch Girl. I picked up a few of those designs. Again, these will be available soon. And then one of the most fun things I had was I went into Rami's Creations room, and she had a beautiful window display. And I started really looking at her designs and was very impressed. And this is one where I hope you guys trust me. The finished design, the finished model was amazing. And the pictures, it's hard to do the finished model justice with the pictures. So this one is Halloween Needle Book by Rami's Creations. And if you can see, it's got the ghost on one side of the needle book and then this pumpkin, and it says Halloween needle and pins stitched with love. And then you end up making, and then it's got these little tiny scissor fob designs, a cat and a skeleton. So I saw those and I was like, I saw the finished model laying there and I was like, that is so cool. So I went and talked to her and I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I think I only got 4, maybe. But she also dyes her own threads. So her designs call for Rami's Creations threads with a DMC equivalent. But of course, the DMC is a solid color and her dye threads are variegated. But very few shops carry Rami's Creations threads. So I said, kit me up. And so I have all of the floss needed to make this needle minder. And those will probably be listed as kits. I don't have the fabric. There calls for 32 count fabric, but I'll probably sell them on my site as kits with the floss. So I was really excited. They were just absolutely adorable. And then she also had, oh, here's some more buttons by Les Secrets de Marie. Look at this one. Look at this witch. It's so fun. And then there were these primitive birdhouses. So I don't know, I might run around more. So then Rami's Creations, again, they're not on my website yet, but she actually had these books of 8, it says 8 bonus projects. So, and they're all quite small. The books are a little pricey, but you get a bunch of different designs. I want to show you any patterns. Here's that one finished. Let's see what else we got. October 31st. So this one's Halloween. Look at this one. So cute. So I picked up a couple of the, and there's, I don't know how many are in there. It said 8 bonus projects, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, plus 13 designs plus an alphabet. So that was really cool. So I got that one. That one's called Spooktacular Cross Stitch. So that will be listed on my site. And then I got the same type of book in Joyful Christmas. And this is also by Rami's Creations. So I will show you a couple from that. This gingerbread house. I think books, even though they're a little bit more up front cost, if there's at least 2 or 3 designs in the book that you want to stitch, they're a much better value than buying the charts individually. So I don't remember what I paid for those, so I can't tell you what their cost is until I get them listed on my website. Then real quick, I had never heard of Under the Garden Moon designer, and I picked up some designs by them that were just adorable. And then I had Artist Designs, who I'd heard from but I'd never carried before. Those will be available. This one was one of my favorites. Those will be available. And these Disco Chicks were adorable, and they actually come with the specially floss you need, metallic. And then I went into a room and called Sampler Bird Stitchery. Sampler Bird, all one word. And got these adorable little designs. They are only 53 by 53. And that one is Hop into Spring. And that is, this one's another by Sampler Bird Stitchery, a new designer to me. It's called Merry Stitches. And then Merriest Christmas. Okay, and then who is this? This is Under the Garden Moon. And I'll probably show these again once they're available, but I just wanted to show you some of the different things that I was able to go in and try to find that weren't just your standard major designers, whose designs are fabulous, but trying to find something new for you guys. So look for those soon. I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'm so excited to have hit 4,000 subscribers, and I really hope that you guys consider joining our Stitch Along with Erin Elizabeth Designs and Helen D. All that information about everything I talked about hopefully will be down below. Happy stitching, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.